Your customers are going through change. Your customers are going through dramatic change. Your customers are going through change that they never experienced in their life. Because all the things we talked about, technology, competition, globalization, all of that stuff is affecting these people. So when you go to make a call on somebody, and you know what? If I'm thinking that tomorrow they're going to be firing 25 people in my division, do I really care about your value proposition today? No. I'm preoccupied with the change. So if you understand this is what my customers are going through in the change process, it makes it a little easier to sell to them. He said, if I saw everybody that wanted to call on me, I couldn't do my job. So I can't. And I look for reasons not to have people call on me because I don't have the time. He says, but here's the other side of the coin. If somebody has a good idea that's new and can do something for me positive, I have all the time in the world for that person. So it's all about, I've got to have a new idea that makes sense for me, not a new idea that makes sense for 12 other people. This is important. People are becoming much more discerning about how they make their buying decisions. You guys know this better than I do. And that's all because of change and the things that change is pushing on them. I don't ever want to see you again. I don't want you to call me on the telephone. I hate your car. I hate your hair. I hate the way you're dressed. I hate absolutely everything about you. Get out of here. Okay. Off he went. So this was a key target that he was supposed to call on. So of course he did what a good salesperson would do. He didn't call on him, but he wrote a bogus call report, right? Went to see him on this day, and da-da-da-da. This went on for about a year and a half until the president or the vice president said, I want to make calls with you. Here's the 4 people I want to see. Guess which target was number 1? This guy. So my friend calls me up on the phone. He goes, Mike, he says, I've been writing these call reports, and he says, you know, this guy told me he's going to shoot me if I go in there, but, you know, I mean, I said, Frank, you got to call. I said, you have got to call. You've got to find out. So he calls up the guy in the office, and he gets the receptionist, said, I'd like to talk to Johnny Johnson. And the receptionist says, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson's been dead for a year. He says, I've been writing call reports on a dead man. Huh? Because he was afraid to go back. Now, some people try to fight change. I was one of those people. I had a daughter named Caitlin. Still do. Let me start again. I have a daughter named Caitlin. And when she was 8 years old, we had the most wonderful relationship in the world. She thought Daddy was great, and I loved it, right? I mean, you dads know when you're an 8-year-old daughter, and the most expensive thing she wanted was like $14, right? So I could, you know, I was a pretty good dad. And we just loved each other, and she'd say things to me like, oh, Dad, I know you're going to knock him out, and let me help you pick out the tie, and I know you're going to be great. Just a wonderful relationship until the pilot moved in next door. Now, let me tell you about the pilot. The pilot is 14 years younger than I am. The pilot looks like Tom Cruise. The pilot drives a sports car. The pilot put in a trampoline. So all of a sudden, I was at Mr. Dave's house, and I was jumping on Mr. Dave's trampoline, and Mr. Dave this, and Mr. Dave that. Now, of course, with my finely tuned speaker salesman's ego, this doesn't bother me at all, does it? Yeah, right. So my wife has a little talk with Caitlin, and she says, Caitlin, your daddy's a little jealous of Mr. Dave. You got to tell him how much you love him. And Caitlin, at 8 years old, understood jealousy, so she's got it figured. So a couple weeks later, I'm calling in on the phone, and I'm talking to my wife on the phone, and I'm going, you know, did the guy come and fix the pipe and all of that? And I can hear Caitlin in the background. Is that Daddy? Is that Daddy? And I said, put her on, honey, put her on. She's got to talk to her daddy. And Caitlin gets on the phone. She says, great news, Dad, great news. I said, what, honey, what? She said, Mr. Dave's getting a bald spot just like yours. This is what I call a sleepover. Most of you are here for the night, right? And you get too close to people, it can cause trouble. And I'll give you an example of that. I was given a program last summer in Houston, Texas. Anybody here been to Houston, Texas in August? How hot's it get there? Hot, there you go. Okay, I can't say that. Yes, it is hotter than blazes. So how cold do they have it in the convention center? 20 below zero. Yes? So I had a woman sitting, what's your name, ma'am?
I'm Amber.
Amber. I had a woman sitting where Amber's sitting, and she in a sleeveless dress, and she's sitting there like a scared bunny rabbit. She's just frozen. So I said, well, here, ma'am, have my coat. And I gave her my coat, and at the end of the program, she gave me an excellent review. Pay attention. Yes? Huh? Okay. Very good. And when I went home, my wife was helping me sort through my laundry. And as this coat crossed her nostrils, she looked at me and said, who do you know with Chanel number 5? So I don't care how cold you get, you ain't getting it.